Hello? Yes, it is, yes.
It's Chris. I don't know why we got cut off.
Yeah, I think that sometimes my phone just drops the call, so just the call just dropped. Mr. Browell, I was gonna say, can you understand that if I'm expected to evidence where I'm spending the money, who's paying for my uh, time to evidence that?
It's just a case of keeping receipts, and if you want to be reimbursed money, and like you said that you've already spent, it'd be a case of collecting the receipts together and reimburse and
Yeah,
be able to
but that aspect of collecting receipts, who's paying for that? Who's paying for that task?
Shizad, I don't think it's reasonable to say
What?
that you're going to be paid to.
Do you accept that me collecting receipts is now evidence?
Okay.
Yes, and so let me ask you something, Mr. Browell. If I was to say to you now, you need to provide us with receipts for the last year of where you've been spending the money that you've been receiving from your employer, would you be able to provide those receipts?
No, probably not. No.
Okay, and the why is that? Why would you not be able to put evidence where you spent the money that you received from your employer?
Well, I mean, it'd probably be my bank statements and things like that. That would be able to provide where the money's been spent.
That's right. Yes. So, but you personally don't need to evidence receipts, do you?
No,
So why does Talib then? And why would we? That's
I
his
think
money.
you're talking about you being reimbursed for money that you've spent in looking after Talib. So, and you have to find out how it could be dissipated, and I found out for you.
Okay, all right. But can you understand? I was not under any obligation to keep those receipts.
No, I understand that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that.
So effectively, what you're asking me to provide you with is the impossible, isn't it? Because I've not been keeping receipts of where I've been spending the money. Like for example, we went to the takeaway yesterday. We had a meal together. All right. Now I paid for that meal because all the alternative is that Talib would have been gone hungry. So the idea of me to be reimbursed with that is present you with the receipts. Can you understand? This is a job of an accountant. So for you to say the fact that that's unreasonable, it's unreasonable task for me to keep receipts for the purposes of you collecting them. And Mr. Browell, like I said, sorry, I was looking to end the call, but can you understand that you're effectively flipping the role of the public authority and a private citizen here? Because in the past, you may or may not be aware, the money that you, the council, are spending have to be audited, and you have to keep receipts. And I've, as a member of the public, under the audit commission, sorry, the Audit Act 2000 or something, have made a request for all the receipts, and you've not provided me with all the receipts.
I think the thing is, though, Shazad, and I agree you will accept this, but the reason that the appointeeship is in place and that there needs to be some kind of safeguards and monitoring of how Talib's money is being spent. And that's the reason why receipts would be requested and some evidence. I can agree. I understand that you think that you don't think that it should be necessary, but that's the reason why the appointeeship's in place, and that's why.
Okay, Mr. Browell. But that is why the reason the appointeeship is in place to safeguard Talib's money being spent inappropriately, yes? And so it's to ensure the fact that Talib's not being financially abused, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, but that is why it's in place. But what are the effects of it being in place now? Is the fact that Talib does not, in order to safeguard it, Talib does not get access to his money, does he?
Yeah.
So in order, for example, Mr. Browell, if I can make the argument that I need to safeguard your well-being because you're going out into the world and you can have an accident or somebody can attack you or somebody can beat you up. There's a myriad of things that could happen to you, Mr. Browell. So what I should do is I should lock you up in a cage so to safeguard you. That's an argument that I can make, can't I?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's just the same what you're doing. You're making this like a ridiculous argument that in order to safeguard Talib's money, we're not going to we've created a situation where he's not getting any money. So his money is being safeguarded, but he's not getting any money. Is that not an abuse, far more serious abuse?
That's because of your opinions on the appointeeship.
It's not my opinions, as I've explained. It's my brother's opinion that he does not want the money. I should be given the money because he's not equipped or does not have the abilities, not lacking any ability, but does not have the competency to manage his own financial affairs. He's given me that responsibility, having mental capacity. So, we're just going around in circles here. You're basically utilizing, like, safeguarding or acting in somebody's best interest to a point of extreme. To say the fact that he's not getting any money. Is that not even worse?
So the reason he's not getting any money is because yourself and or Talib are not accepting of the appointeeship.
No, Mr. Browell, that's beside the point. My brother, when you come down at the time, remember in May, we were not presented with an order. All right, so we did not know. So the reason that we're not even entertaining the idea of accepting any money is because you're not even telling us the balance. And you've already agreed in this conversation that you personally do not understand why they won't even tell us the balance. And the thing is that you're acting you're acting as gatekeepers to information. So effectively, it seems to me, making the assessment, having my own mental mind and having being fully informed, is that you're acting with malevolence because you're saying, well, let's utilize this opportunity to see Talib. And I have to take into consideration previous attempts made to see Talib, to a point where you bought off a judge in November, Judge Wilcox, to force through a capacity assessment so a professional can see Talib in January. So you have to take all these things into consideration. It's very clear to me how and why and exactly how you're operating, and you're operating with criminal intent. Now, we've asked that we're not able to accept the money because we've just said, even in our last call, which was only a couple of days ago, I last spoke to you, I think, on Monday or Tuesday. Today's Thursday, all right? And we simply said, in order for us to entertain the idea, we will need to know what balance there is. And that's why we're not even entertaining the idea. Never mind about the court orders in place. You are acting as gatekeepers to basic financial information that I could go and I could find out how much the council is spending through the Audit Commission Act, through your annual reports. But you're not even able to tell us how much money Talib's got. That is fundamentally criminal and fraudulent. And you accept this, that you, Mr. Browell, are saying that I don't understand why they're not giving that information. Why don't you not understand? I'm telling you, the reason they're not giving that information is because of criminal intent. You cannot keep that information. My brother has, with capacity, has asked you, how much money have I got? And you're saying, well, in order for us to tell you how much money, the information that you're asking for, we want to have a quid pro quo arrangement. And that quid pro quo arrangement is this. In order for us to tell you some information, you need to give us something to advance our agenda and narrative. And that agenda and narrative is, we want to physically see Talib. Alright, so we're back at square one.
And that agenda is to make sure that Talib's okay.
Is my mum okay? You made sure my mum was okay, didn't you? I'm sorry, Mr. Browell, but you're just saying these words, and I'm getting slightly irritated because what do you care about my brother? To you, he's some dumb packy invalid. You don't care about him. Alright? I care about him because he's my brother. Why do you need to see him? Why do you care about him? What is that? What have you done to my mum? You cared for her. You provided her with support within. You couldn't even look after her for 1 year. She ended up dying. So, when you say with respect, Mr. Browell, I'm sorry, I just need to calm myself down a little, because you're saying that you're doing it for his best interest. But you're not. You're just saying those words. You're effectively screwing us over. Alright? Why did you send me to prison? Because I was abusing him? You know that's wrong. You know that's false. The reason that I was sent to prison is because I was whistleblowing on the council's failure in direct payment, not auditing it. For 5 years, public money, you were mismanaging public money. And I was going to whistleblow. And then you bought off the judges and sent me to prison. So moving on from that, Mr. Browell, when you say to me that it's in Talib's best interest, this is very disingenuous of you. You know it's not in right, because if you were acting in my brother's Talib's best interest, it would start the starting point is to respect a person's wishes and gain consent. That would show me that you're acting with integrity and forthrightness, and you treat us with integrity by asking for our consent and permission. You're saying you're holding us in contempt because you're not even asking our consent or permission. My brother, I act with my brother's permission and consent. My brother has informed you with capacity that I want to know how much my balance is. All right? And you're not even respecting that much. So you want us to respect what you're saying. You're acting in our best interest. You're not acting in our best interest. Right now, you're going behind the back and telling the GPs not to talk to us. You're going telling my brothers and sisters, my nieces and nephews, like to target us. So, with respect, this is just not right. You're not doing anything to assist us. You're just saying those words because you know you can't say anything other. We are suffering from racial discrimination, even though you're not calling us a Paki. It's what you're doing that's problematic. I don't care what you're saying. What you're doing to us is wrong. What you're doing to us is denying us our rights and freedoms in the name and guise of safeguarding and protecting us. You're not safeguarding and protecting us because we've not told you to do that. We've not consented to this. Mr. Browell, it all comes down to consent. Have we consented to this? No, we haven't. So how can look, Mr. Browell, the reason I've rang you up is that obviously I've sent you a council tax. Who did that? Did we register ourselves with the council tax? You want us to pay you money. This is extortion. You're basically, my brother's entitled to council tax rebate. Can't you resolve that issue for us?
I can try and make a phone call about that, Shazad, yeah.
Because you understand that my brother is entitled to housing. You told the housing association not to give us a tenancy agreement. So right now my brother is homeless. Right now we don't have a tenancy agreement in place. But irrespective of not having a tenancy agreement in place, somebody has told us that we're living here and registered us with council tax. Who's done that? I didn't do that. Did you do that?
No.
So who did that? That's your acting. You see these actions you're taking. Is that in our best interest? Is in our best interest that you're looking to charge us £200, sorry, £2,000 in council tax?
Is Manningham Housing I'm not sure. Will it be them? Would they, if that property is empty, would they need to pay the council tax?
Oh, so you're saying that if the property is empty, you put a council tax liability on an empty property. They then said that it's not an empty property and that these are the people that are living there.
I'm asking that question. I don't know.
Well, I don't know as well. But the bottom line is that if we're living here, then would we not ordinarily be entitled? First of all, the housing association should not be giving information without our consent in it. Number one, the matter's still in court, the decision's not been decided. And number three is that we are entitled to, as being on qualifying benefits, my brother would be entitled to council tax rebate, wouldn't he?
You still there, Shazad?
Pardon? Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just asking that why has the local authority is fully aware that because you're in charge of Talib's finances, why have they not applied a council tax rebate?
Yeah, absolutely. I can give them a call and see if speak with them about that.
Yeah, because I'm not going to speak. You're my single point of contact. If you don't want to be the single point of contact with Bradford Council, provide me with another single point of contact. Because obviously I've got a relationship with you. You're the most appropriate person to deal with all the ongoing issues. Now, I also need to know what's happened with the £1,000 that's been taken from the property. In addition to my Bitcoin wallet and all the other items that have been removed from the property, especially in Talib's room. All Talib's clothes, Talib's room has been emptied. Where has all his stuff gone?
I don't know.
What's happened with the £1,000 that you've taken from my bedroom that you the council have accepted that you took the £1,000?
I don't know anything about that. I've recorded that in notes when you mentioned that
Okay.
some time ago.
All right. And so what's happened with my mum's jewelry that you've taken from the safe in my bedroom?
Again, I don't know.
Okay. And so there's all the items have been stolen from the property. So who can you speak to somebody about giving you some clarity of what's happened with all the stolen items, and also all my correspondence for the year that I was not here. Nobody's given me any correspondence. What's happened to all my correspondence?
I think you need to speak with the social work team that were involved at that time.
But like I said, Mr. Browell, I'm not speaking to 10,000 different people in different departments. I should have one single point of contact with the Bradford Council at this stage, because it's so complex, so many things, and everybody I speak to is all been compartmentalized. And this is one of the reasons that the only person that I should really be speaking to who refuses to speak to me is Kirsten England, because she oversees all the different departments. It would be very, very disingenuous of me to deal with the council tax people. Then they say, I don't know, I'm clueless, I don't know what's going on there. When I'm speaking to the social workers, they don't even want to talk to me. I wrote to them, I said, look, everything's been stolen from the house, come down and look. They didn't want to come down. There's a legal department, but the legal department can only give advice to the senior executives. But somebody needs to, I need to have a single point of contact to have all these issues resolved with, because we're suffering as a consequence. You've taken away all our money, you've isolated us, you've taken away all our services, all our legal rights. Effectively, you're holding us prisoner in this house. You're not giving us any money. Mr. Browell, I've gone to prison. You put me into prison. I have more legal rights in prison than I do out here, living here. We've got no security of accommodation. We've got no money coming in other than my carer's allowance of £76. And the universal credit, you're taking money off that to pay off a debt that we still, I'm never going to be able to pay off. It's just ongoing. And you continue to make acts of aggression against me. You're colluding and conspiring with my siblings and my nieces and nephews and my relatives to isolate us or to utilize them to get your objectives. So we need to resolve this, because this situation cannot stay like this.
Okay, can we find the conversation up now, please?
Yes, Mr. Brown.
Find out about the balance.
So you're going to find out about the balance, all right? Because
I'll speak to the council tax department.
Okay, so with regard. Sorry to interrupt. So with regards to the balance, if they're telling you there's a policy, then we want a written policy. We want to know what day and time what date that policy was in place. And so we need to have physical evidence of the policy. If it's a practice, then we can say that that's open to your discretion effectively. There's nothing stopping you. So we need to know exactly what the balance is in order for us to even entertain the idea of taking on some money from yourself. All right, we will not. My brother and I'm advising my brother, and I will not be. We will not be physically seeing you. All right, in order to meet your agenda for you to raise a false flag safeguarding alert. So that's the first issue with regards to his money. We need to know how much. So the question we're asking is, how much money in DWP benefit money have you accumulated over the time period? And I believe it's from October 2019 until today that you've been his DWP appointee. So we're asking the simple question of how much money that you've accumulated. Is that understood?
Yeah, that's fine,
Yeah, and in relation to his council tax, I've sent you an email. You have a copy of the council tax liability. It needs to be totally in Talib's name, not my name, because this is it should be in one person's name, and that's Talib's name, the council tax liability, and it should be rebated because he's on qualifying council tax benefit.
Okay, why shouldn't it only be in Talib's name? Sorry.
Because originally, this is Talib's house, isn't it? It does not need to be in two people's names. If I had the choice previously, it was in my mum's name, wasn't it? Yes? Yeah. So we were all living here. It was not in my mum's name, my brother Talib's name, and my name, was it? It only needs to be in one. It needs to be in a minimum of one person's name. I do not consent to being responsible for council tax, and because this is effectively if this house originally was given because of Talib. I made the conscious decision as the executive of a trust that I should put it in my mum's name. All right. So effectively, I'm controlling the tenancy, but the named person on this tenancy was my mother. That's a decision I made. but this house was given to us because Talib's needs. So it should be on Talib's name, not my name.
Yeah, no, that's fine, Roger.
So for example, sorry to just go. So if your argument is that if the empties, there's a council tax liability, the housing association were contacted because it's their property, and they informed the Bradford Council that the people responsible for the council tax is Talib and Shazad. I want that to be corrected because I'm not responsible for the council tax here. My brother Talib would be the only person responsible for the council tax. So the council tax should be named in Talib's name alone. My name should be removed from there, and a council tax rebate should be applied. Can I leave that with yourself?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
All right, Mr.
Wednesday, I'm off towards the end of next week, but can I get that to you on Wednesday?
Sorry, are you off work?
Towards the end of next week, yeah. No, actually, I'm off on Wednesday, so I'll give you a call Tuesday if that's okay.
Can I ask how long are you off for?
Just for the end of next week. That's
Okay,
all.
so we're rearranging a call for coming Tuesday, yes?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay, I just want to make you aware that it's going to be Eid on the weekend, and neither my brother or I are having access to any money, and I think this is totally unjustifiable by you, the council, of putting us into this detrimental situation. So when we speak on Tuesday, you'll be able to give us some feedback. But Mr. Browell, I would also ask you to consider the aspect of my brother Talib's GP practice not engaging with us because you, the local authority, have told them to do so, not engage with us. All right, this is a more concerning issue for me.
Okay.
So please, can you seek appropriate advice from your legal team about how I can engage with the GP practice, because Vicina Brown has contacted them last year and told them not to speak to me.
Yeah, I can't guarantee anything on that. The other
Okay.
two things, I'll do my best.
Okay, Mr. Browell, have a nice day. Thank you for taking the call.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Absolutely ridiculous situation they've placed us into now. All right, absolutely ridiculous situation that's endangering both me and my brother's life, and providing us with no services and holding us effectively hostage in our own home, and holding us prisoner in our own home while they act as gatekeepers to information, while they act as gatekeepers to resources, and that resources consists of information, money, and manpower. Information in the form of how much money that they've collecting, and money with regards to holding the money against us, and with regards to manpower, they're not even allowing us, my relatives, my brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews, to help me in the caring role. Absolutely ridiculous.